Got the Firebrand exhaust on. And what else? I kind of cleaning up in here. I tightened up the oil filter bolt from the top. I turned it a good quarter turn. So if you ever have the opportunity, changing the starter motor, make sure you tighten up that oil filter. That bike there, the oil filter was hanging off. It came so loose, it was just onto the last thread. What else? Oh yeah, this thing was rattling loose. I thought it was a screw in here because they just kind of screw into a grommet with a steel insert. But there's 3 bolts that hold the steel. It's the plate where your computer bolts to, but this bike doesn't have the computer in it. It's got the new Ultima ignition system on it. But those 3 bolts in there were loose, and the front one was almost falling out. So I don't know whoever had that off. I never touched it, but tightened up those 3 bolts. That tightened this right up. Put some chrome washers on the inside of these. What else have I been doing? I've been out here all morning. Got this cleaned up. Polished it up a little bit on the buffer. I got to grease that bearing when I put that back in there. And still looking for the banjo bolt to finish up the brakes. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to rip apart that whole bench. Every bag, box, everything, sweep the thing right clean. Start there. I'm pretty sure it's over there somewhere. It's got to be over there somewhere. If not, then I got to start taking apart this whole bench. It's got to be in here. Now, it may have got thrown in over here with some Harley stuff, but man, I hope not. Otherwise, I got to go through that bench. But yeah, I really like the looks of that Firebrand exhaust, that 2-into-1, a little bit upswept. You know, so many of the Harley exhausts, the 2-into-1 are just a straight pipe right here, straight, like no imagination into them at all. All the Jap bikes, you know, they have an upswept pipe like this. And yeah, I had to make this, I had to cut this. They don't make it for the old Evolutions. And only for the newer style bikes, but I kind of ordered the pieces and cut it and welded it and made it work, and I had some extra covers here to cover up where I had it welded in here. But yeah, it's starting to look like a pretty nice bike there now. The bars, get the bars all done. Next thing is going to be the tank. Oh, I'm going to tackle this. Peter was over and we tried to sand it down to get it down to the original blue, to see if we could sand this off without hurting the original blue. So I'm going to bring it over there this week and use his orbital sander, and I'm just going to work on this. If I can get it down to the original blue, then he can just clear coat it. And then I can either put some decals on it, clear coat the decals in, or I know where there's some really nice logos I want to order. But man, it's another $100. But geez, they would look really good on there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Go to Peter's this week and work on that. This is somebody else's branding, not mine, so it's nice to have your own branding. Maybe I should put motor oil and beer on here. Maybe do it in the Harley bar and shield. Somehow I can put it like that. A lot of guys are doing stuff like that. Okay, that's it for right now. I was going to finish working on this today, put that starter motor in. I already got it bolted to the housing there. But then I had to put my car in the garage and thaw it out. It's getting dried out now because this happened. We got a pile of snow last night, probably 14 inches. So I shoveled the driveway all morning. We hardly had any snow yesterday, a couple inches. That's how much we got. That thing started second pull, hasn't run in 2 years. I just have to squirt gas in the spark plug, that's all. Because the primer bulb isn't working, I gotta get a new one. Yeah, but you can see how much snow is on here. That's about 14, 16 inches there. I always estimate these things, never measure them. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it's about a foot going across here. That's 12 inches. If I just had a little door across here, it'd stop all that snow from getting in there. Okay, I gotta go get some parts. Still snowing out. This is the most snow we've had in, I know, at least 3 years. I didn't even start my snowblower last year. And the year before, I only used it once. It wasn't this much snow. Okay, I better put this down.
Vaccine right on our website at WSAQ.com. After you pre-register, the St. Clair County Health Department will alert you when it's your
Do
turn
not
to
get the vaccine.
Right, so sign up, wait for them to get a hold of you.
Yeah, pre-register for your vaccine.
Pre-register. You want to get more COVID-19 updates, just go to WSAQ.com.
If you won a prize recently and haven't claimed it yet, stop by the radio station during our new operating hours. You can stop by the King Country Studios Mondays.
A warm spot on the road there, it's weird, eh?
Follow the instructions on our
Gotta be
front
something
road.
underground.
We'll walk your prize out to you.
Minus 16, 17 degrees. Holy. Can't believe how cold that is. The most snow we've had in one day to the coldest day of the year. I always unplug this furnace every night. Because can't get fire insurance and theft insurance on these old bikes. At least I can't. Tried everywhere. Okay, let's warm the garage up. So I had to buy a banjo bolt for this brake caliper, 12 millimeter, and won't thread in. The threads, I'm not sure if I did a video on this last night or not, but the threads are just barely partially cut. They're like a little bit scored. I don't know how the hell that could happen, but the threads aren't cut, so I got to get a tap today and clean those threads up. I got all the valve guides and 2 intake valves for the Norton head. So today I'm going to get the oil line on first, get the starter motor in, and I won't be able to get the tap from, I don't have that tap, 12 by 1.25, get that from Peter tonight, and then get the brakes bled. And hopefully I can fire that bike up. Okay, I'm going to get warm until this garage warms up. While I got this apart, I took out all the guts to the brakes here until I can tap those threads out better there, which are all chewed up and squared off like they're. This is just cheap Chinese shit, I believe. I'm having to fix those threads, and I've been grinding down this end here, this part, the back, because if it doesn't slide all. Still working out issues with this thing. I've been measuring and comparing him to this thing. And then, like I said, I'm gonna check, so I took it right off. This is some old bars. And look at how it fits right here against the old bar. Fits like shit. So it's not going all the way in, so it can slide out farther. That's part of the reason. Here's the original, this is original Harley handlebar, and this is original Harley brake. Look at that. Nice tight fit on there. Easy to fit on. This one does not fit on right. The chrome, I gotta grind off the chrome just like I ground off all the chrome here and on the sides and up here. It's too big to fit in there properly. I gotta jam it on there and hammer it to get it on. But this chrome here is screwing it all up. So now I gotta file all that out, see if I can get it to fit better on the bars. That's the next step. Look at that. Junk. The last three things I got from China, and the last thing I never got, $70 for Peter carburetor, never came in. Ordered October 28th, never came in. I was contacted the guy. Well, then after 90 days, there's no more contact. You just lose your money. I should have demanded a refund. I tried to get it from him, but he wouldn't give it to me. But I should have complained right to eBay. But I am going to tell you right now, I'm you know, until China changes, I'm never ever. Well, what I'm doing is I'm ordering stuff out of California. I don't even order from China. I'm ordering from California, and they're saying it'll be there, you know, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I've been noticing this the last couple of years. You start to order stuff from California, and they say it'll be there, yeah, in a week to 2 weeks. And then it's 3 weeks, then 4 weeks, then 6 weeks, then 8 weeks. It's coming from China, and they're using a California address. That's what they're doing. And then when you get the tracking number, you can see that sometimes it'll say a Chinese city's name, you know, Wang Flung Pu or something like that, and you can trace it. And then lately they've been putting it like it's, I know it's coming from China, but they're putting a different name in there. It's like an American name or an English name. So you think it's coming from somewhere in the States, but no, it's all from China. Look at this junk. I'm filing every fucking thing on it to try to make it work. Got to retap the threads in the end here. This was $100, $108 US. Pretty much garbage. I'm tempted to go back to my old one because actually the piston in the Chinese one will work in my old one. So I'm thinking about going back to that because that piston's the right piston that'll work in this one. I'm pretty sure. I'm looking at it's the piston size is the same. If the bore length is the same and everything, I'm sure I could make this one work. I should measure the bore length and go back to this one. But then I need a longer brake line again. So I'm not gonna give up on this yet, but I gotta grind the hell. I'm gonna get my Dremel, grind this out so that fits in better, fits in tighter. Then it'll slide in farther, and I may use the black cap off of the stock one, and that'll work better too. But just junk. Like that fork brace that I got. I bought a fork brace for this one here from China, that one that wraps around. Said it's for the, you know, the 80s Fxrs. Now, didn't fit. There's no way to make it fit on there. It didn't fit. Didn't fit inside the fender or over the fender. But I've got a really good quality fork brace on there now. So I think that was $40, so that's junk. I tried cutting it up. I may use it on the on that brat build though. This is pretty much junk. I'm gonna make it work, but junk. And then I ordered a carburetor for Peter. You know, $68, $67. It came to American with shipping and everything. Never got it. You know, I bet you it'll show up in 2 or 3 months or maybe next summer, but it's no good now. Anyways, that's my rant. Okay, I already bolted this together. I should have did a video on it, but I think there's some on the internet. The old starter motors, the stud that runs through, the long stud, goes into this hole and this hole here. The new style, all balls ones and drag specialties, it comes with 2 Allen head bolts, and you disassemble the starter motor and you bolt it from the inside, and that's permanent in there. But on the inside of this this machined aluminum piece here. There's several positions you could set it in. I think there's at least 3, so 6 holes in here, maybe 8. So that when this is bolted on, let's see, I think it's bolted like that. I might even have to turn this, I'm not sure now. Yeah, I might have screwed this up. So if I bolt it like that, this this is down too low. I think I'm gonna have to take it apart. Or did it go like this? Oh, I've got it screwed up, so I'm gonna have to show you anyways. Yeah, that bolts like that. Well, this terminal's way too low. It should be up here, so I do have to take it apart. So let's do that. I put it on upside down or something. Okay. Okay, you got to be careful taking this thing apart because you don't want the armature to come out of the brushes. Then you got to take it all apart, which I had to do. I grabbed the armature by mistake and pulled it out. What I noticed with this armature compared to the cheap one that was in here was that it's a lot thicker where the windings go. What do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word for it. Actually, where the brushes mount on, the 4 brushes, this one here is about this thick around, where the other one's like that thick around. It's almost double in size. See that there. I don't want that armature to pull out of the brushes here, so I think I gotta think of how this comes apart again now. This is pulling this is bolted to there, so I've got to pull this apart here. Hopefully that armature stays in here. If I push this down, I think that's the trick. There we go. Okay. There you can see all the different positions. So there's 8. I don't know how I got that in there wrong, but I did. So I gotta go look on the bike here first. Yeah, so actually I had it in this hole. I'm gonna put it in this hole. Let's see what that does. I think I'm gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on it. Whoop. by mounting it this way, I don't need the support on the back. Oh, that's real thin casting there, like a knife edge. I could Dremel that right off. It doesn't need to be there. Oh well. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of white grease in here because there is a little bit of the shaft. I don't think it touches it, but won't hurt. And we're going to put a little bit of white grease on the gears when I get it together. Okay, so now there is 2 notches on here and here to line this. So let me just, okay, that's going to go like that. So I want this to be up like that. Yeah, there's 2 little, there's a tit here and a tit on the other side that aligns with that. Check the other side. That's all I can see. That lines up. Gonna double check it before I get it cranked right down. Let me just go check this. I think that'll work. It could be moved over a little bit more that way if it goes that way. I don't know, but I'm gonna try that. Okay. If this is going to go like this, then this is on a bit of an angle. That's how the original one was, towards the front. So I think that'll work. And what it says is to put a little bit of light grease on the gear. And this gear here, I've already washed it off. Put a little bit of grease on that. That's all I need, just a little bit of lubrication there. It's just for starting. Nobody was even on there. This gear's got a slight bevel on this side and it's flat on this side, so I'm putting the bevel in first. Yeah, it's on there. And I gotta get my socket here, 1/2 inch. Two extensions. Pass those over. I've still got the gearbox vent line off, makes it a lot easier. See here, where's my, need some light. There we go, locks right in there. There's a couple dowel pins, it locks right in. And this should reach right onto there. That should be just about right, I think. Hands of a surgeon. Okay, this one's a little trickier. Don't miss. Need some bigger torque. Ratchet here. Okay, not too tight, just tight right. Right about there. Put the solenoid cable back on. Now this kit comes with 2 shims, 2 little tiny wee shims to shim the starter solenoid if it doesn't engage far enough or like slips out, doesn't completely engage. So I'm gonna try it without it first. And then these 2 little shims like this, they go behind the spring to make the spring a little tougher, tighter. Okay, let's get this 1/2 inch wrench, 7/16. It'd be nice to have like a rubber boot over top of that thing, you know? Doesn't come with one. Because that's live power there. I might have one somewhere. Yeah, I don't think that thing came with a rubber boot. Okay, we hook the battery up and I'll spin it over and see how it spins compared to the other one. Okay, Okay, I haven't charged the battery up, so let's see how if there's any difference. Let me just check the plugs and everything here. Okay, I gotta tighten those plugs. There's something else I was just gonna check. Oh, the neutral switch here. I'm not sure if it's in neutral. Let me check that. Something stuck on the belt. Okay, neutral light doesn't appear to be working for some reason. Let's try it. Holy, that cranks over way faster. Way faster cranking over. Holy. Oh, you can hear the difference there. And I didn't charge that battery up or nothing since last time. Now my neutral switch isn't working. It was working. Check the connection on that. I had some, when I was cleaning out in here, I had some gravel fall down in the belt grooves. When I was turning over the rear wheel, I could hear it crunching and making it hard to turn, so I had to clean that out. But, wow, does that ever crank over? Holy smokes. Yeah, my neutral switch is right here, and I know I got it on there. I know it's in neutral. Out. Let's see if I can wiggle it. Skinny screwdriver. Maybe it's the bulb. Maybe the bulb finally went, but this was a loose connection here. Pisses me off. Fix one thing and then something else goes. This bike's almost done. I got the lines all on. I put on the old master cylinder with the parts from the new one. Seems to fit in there right and work. And it slides better into the switch bracket here with that chrome piece of crap. I was always about 2 millimeters short of going to the end, so the brake light switch was always on. I could bend it out and make it work, but let's just keep it all original FXR stuff. That's what we're going to try to do. And now I'll bleed the system here. It's usually the hardest part. I'll see if I be able to bleed it with the new guts in this thing in here. But they're totally different than the other ones, so. And used .5. I think when these things came out, they said .4 or something, but brake fluid. See, it doesn't say on that one, but .5. .5 works and everything, and it's the best synthetic. I may have to go buy more. Shoot. What a waste. dum. Got too much in there. Stupid. I'm wasting it. Stuff's so expensive, and I've only got a little bit left, so I don't know if we got enough to do it. Okay, that didn't work. The bore in the old FXR must be worn out, or it's a slightly different size, because when I was pumping it, the oil was pissing out of the bore here, so that didn't work. So I'm back to the cheap aftermarket one, and I can't get it. Looking at it, I can't get it to slide all the way up against this black part here. It's close, millimeter and a half. But I just bent the tang a little bit so my brake light works. Back there. So that's the main thing. So now, try to bleed this system. Now, I was thinking the easiest way to do this, but I don't know if I got time to. I could do it, I guess. Is take this fitting off up here, tape the bag to it, and fill it with some brake fluid, hold it up. Maybe it wouldn't take very long, half hour, an hour. Open up the bleed screws down here at the calipers. As soon as the oil comes out, lock them up, and then screw this on here. That way you know you've got all the air out of all these lines. You don't have to pump it up. And could do that, or I could do it the hard way. I always do everything the hard way. I got everything all tightened up, so I could do that. But I'm gonna put it in here. I'll fill it up in here. Okay, I got the bag up here full of brake fluid. And then I got the bleeders down here open on the calipers, left and right side. I'm just waiting for oil to come out of there. I cracked it here. I cracked it at the midway point. I got oil coming out of here, so it's full to here. Now just waiting for it to come out the bleeders, and then I'll lock them up. Looks like my oil level's going down. Take it right out. I cleaned these out last year, so I know they're clean. I think the oil's coming out of that one. Yep, there we go. Lock that one. Take this one out. Should come out of this one. Should come out of this one next. It's not coming out of this, so it's starting to come out of there. Yeah, I better tighten that up. Sure, there's oil in there. And put some vacuum to it. Here, let's suck the bag dry, so should be good. Put the hose back on. Come on. Got oil pissing out everywhere. Oh my God. Come on. Goes this way. Just a mess. Just a freaking mess here. Come on. With the throttle cable. I think so. I think I gotta take that off. That's what you want to see. Air going out, fluid going in. That's all the .5 I got. Okay, let me work on that for a minute. If you let the brake lever snap back a little bit, like let it go, it vibrates the air bubbles up. I haven't even tried to crack the fittings yet. I'm just trying to get as much air out of the lines as I can. Get this up here. Still getting air out. Just keep doing that. Okay, after tons of screwing around, this banjo bolt that I ordered here on the master cylinder came with 2 copper washers, and I could see it kept leaking around these washers, so I tightened it up, and then still leaking, so then I put one of these rubber type washers in there, and then it was leaking on this side, so then I put one on that side, but then I put a copper washer spacer because this banjo bolt is a little bit longer than the stock one, and I wasn't sure if it was threading all the way in, it wouldn't go any farther, so I wanted to kind of space it out a little bit, so I put 1 copper washer in there. Well, that didn't work, so now I put 2 rubber washers right here. I got 2 rubber washers on the inside and 1 on the outside. It's not leaking. As soon as I did that, stopped the air leak, just a couple pumps, and this thing's, it's pumping up now. I topped up the fluid. I had to put the cap on because once you got pressure in there, it starts to squirt it up in the air. And I probably just got to do a little bleed at the bottom, but it'll actually, the air will come out on its own. Air rises, so it'll eventually come out on its own. But I will give it a little crack down there, but I'm out of brake fluid and I'm right at the limit here. So I also lost the circlip for this yesterday on the floor, and I had the old one just broke. The new one was actually, it was a nice circlip on it. It was thicker, heavier, and it had bigger holes to get the circlip pliers in. So yeah, that's there. It's just about right. You can feel the air coming out of it. Oh my God, I don't think I got any more leaks. No more leaks. It was leaking here all the time. Those rubber washers are pretty good. Those are better than the copper ones. Snap it, get that forces the air bubbles up. Now I gotta find that snap ring or get it some new ones. Can't wait to try it and see if those brakes drag. Okay, so this bike has got the starter motor done. I got the brakes all done. Yeah, it's pumping up harder now. It's almost there. Air's rising up. Got the top end done, got the new fueling lifters in there done, got the camshaft shimmed and the breather shimmed. All the oil lines are replaced. Got the clutch diaphragm spring set properly, and before I had it a little bit too far out. Got the transmission upgraded here, so it's got the easier clutch with the 3 balls on there. It's a lot easier to pull. I got all that done, and I had to screw around with this a little bit. So the only thing I need to do is put fuel in it and fire it up, but I don't want to use the tank. I'm going to take it over to Peter's tonight. I'm going to start sanding that tank down tonight, and hopefully I can get that done. And if we can save the blue on it, he can clear it, and then I can just put a decal over that and then clear it one more time. So this bike is almost done. I can get it off my hoist, get the FLH up on here, and start on that one. There, the furnace finally shut off. I know that's noisy. Oh yeah, got all the new brake lines on too. Yeah, the other master cylinder, I gotta suspect that the bore is worn out because I took the guts from this. There's only 2 sizes of those things, 5/8 and 11/16, I think it's 9/16, 11/16, I can't remember. There's only 2 different sizes, and feels like it should work, but it's just pissing oil past the piston, so wouldn't work in the old one. So this is working good now. Just about pumped up. Okay, that's going to be it for this video for today. And yeah, I think I'm going to do the tank next, so maybe I'll do a little video on that tank. That's it.